Amazon, the e-commerce giant, worldwide, being currently in 2022 the second most valuable company in the world, it all started with the dream of a man, that's right, Jeff Bezos, leading the position of the richest man in the world for several years, his story full of ridicule from his peers, and that few people would support his project, which he himself would undertake. From other people's point of view it looked like a game, but they had no idea that he was building an empire, valued at more than $166,028 million. The story of success presents, the story of Amazon. Jeff Bezos was born in a loving family that gave him studies and attention. He studied electronic engineering, graduating with 22 years. Around the year of 1996, a young millionaire founder of Apple, the famous Steve Jobs, had been kicked out of his company. This news would be read by Jeff, surprised by the news because this young man deeply admired Steve Jobs, learning from that mistakes. At that time there were few families that had computers, and the internet was not widely used. One of his first jobs was in a financial company. He noticed that finance was good for him, so he decided to change being a financial analyst. His talent made him promoted to vice president. With this promotion brought responsibilities, and great salary, quite high, meeting here Mackenzie, who would become his future wife, having from this marriage 4 children. For a morning, like many others, he read an article that spoke of the internet was growing 2,300% in users. He knew it would be a matter of little time that would reach everywhere, so he was determined to start his own business. He decided to books, as there were millions of copies. He says goodbye to his job, taking this risky decision that very little would do. The company was born on July 5th of that year as a small online bookstore run by him and his wife. The store had its physical space in a garage, and its initial capital was little more than $10,000. In this way, Bezos invested in betting on his future business. The name of his store was Cadabra, but his friends made fun of him by changing its name to Amazon, whose name was inspired by the Amazon River that passed through 9 different countries in South America. Just 1 month after its launch, Amazon.com was selling in every state in the country and in 45 other countries. A year later, in 1996, the site already had 2,000 visitors a day. Amazon goes public at $18 per share, which at the time gave it a market value of $300 million. The company continues to grow, and as demand increases, Amazon opens a second distribution center in Newcastle, Delaware, in order to be able to supply its customers on the East Coast. This would be the beginning of a network of facilities that would continue to be established throughout the United States in the following years. In 1998, the company decided to expand its offerings to include books, CDs, and DVDs. The music section was launched with 125,000 titles, far more than a physical store could hold at that time. It also allowed shoppers to listen to song clips and view recommendations before purchasing an album. Those years also had some dark spots in Amazon's history. On May 12, 1997, shortly before going public, Amazon received a lawsuit from Barnes & Noble, a large book company that did not accept that Amazon was advertising itself as the world's largest bookstore. Filing the lawsuit at that time was a clear statement of intent for the company, as they were trying to torpedo the company's IPO. Today it is difficult to think that a company like Barnes & Noble would sue Amazon, but at that time it was far ahead in sales in terms of books. In fact, it was not until 2022 when Amazon managed to sell more books than this competition. A year later it would be Walmart that would sue Amazon, although in this case for having stolen trade secrets and for having hired top executives who were previously at Walmart. More lawsuits against the company have followed, but their importance is due to the fact that Amazon at that time was a much smaller company than it is now. The first lawsuits were not settled early at all, but they did end up in out-of-court settlements to prevent the proceedings from dragging on too long. In 1999, Amazon patents the one-click functionality. This is basically the idea that consumers could enter their billing, shipping, and payment information once and then they could buy anything they wanted by simply clicking their mouse button, without having to re-enter any data. Amazon sued direct rival Barnes and Noble for infringement of that patent, forcing other websites to license the technology until the patent expired in 2017. Although the company weathered the downpour of the dot-com bubble that occurred between 1997 and 2001, it did not emerge from it unscathed. Amazon stock peaked at nearly $106 per share in late 1999, but subsequently suffered a sharp drop. Such was the blow that the company had to lay off 15% of its workforce before the share price recovered. That same year, Time magazine names Bezos Person of the Year, calling him the king of e-commerce. Amazon announces its partnership with several major clothing companies, thanks to which it will offer on its platform up to 400 brands of clothing. Officially, the company is no longer an online bookstore, and after clothing came electronic devices, toys, kitchen utensils, and even magazine subscriptions. This has the company starting to generate additional revenue by licensing its platform to other e-commerce sites, such as Borders.com or Target.com. This is a boost to the marketplace and an opening to new and large product markets. All useful and sought after by anyone. A year later, Amazon pays $300 million for Audible, an audio library with 80,000 programs available in the United States and Europe. The move comes just 2 months after Amazon launched its Kindle device for ebooks. Audible currently has more than 40% of the audiobook market and allows you to buy, download, and listen to audiobooks on the device of your choice. In fact, users can use this platform to store a library of audiobooks and even read them thanks to an e-reader. All this was seen by Amazon as a great investment for the future. Greg Greeley, Vice President of the European Division, announces the official launch of Amazon.es, the company's Spanish website. On September 15, 2011, Amazon opened its virtual doors in Spain. Between 2011 and 2016, Amazon increased its catalog from 2.3 million products at launch to more than 157 million. In 2018 it reached 400 million. In 2013 Bezos acquires one of the leading national newspapers in the US for $250 million in addition to its affiliated publications. Jeff Bezos becomes the sole owner of the newspaper, thus acquiring a powerful propaganda tool for his company. 2015 This year Amazon opens its first physical store in Seattle to market its Kindle and sell books. It currently has 15 bookstores spread across several U.S. cities. In addition, the company announces its Amazon Echo smart speaker that works with its virtual assistant, Alexa, and markets it both on its website and in 3,000 stores nationwide. After a 5-year ellipsis in which Amazon continues to grow and grow, along comes the coronavirus pandemic sweeping the globe. While this event has been devastating for most companies, Amazon reported the highest profit in its history. Revenue in 2020 grew 38% to $386 billion. As people stayed home and shopped online specifically, the giant shot up its revenue, mainly coinciding with the mandatory quarantines that occurred across the globe in the second quarter of 2020. Its revenues in that period grew by 40% to $889.10 billion. After more than a quarter of a century of amassing fortunes and taking over markets, Jeff Bezos announced that as of the third quarter of 2021 he will leave his position and take on a new role in the company as executive chairman. Amazon, and its founder, has given us inspiration to achieve our goals. We hope you liked this video. Thank you very much for watching.